Okay, it's 6:02 on Monday, July 20th. We will start the meeting of the City of Othello Planning Commission with roll call. Oh, and before we start that, I'll say that we do have an excused absence from Ruth Sawyer.
Maria Martinez present.
Daniela Voorhees present.
Rob Simmons present.
Jose Garza present.
Chad Robbins present.
Donald Burks present.
Okay, great. And we're going to move on to our next item, which is public input. So if anyone has public input, please come up and state your name and your address, and come to the mic, please.
Good evening, Jake Mendez Jr. I'm a civil rights activist, an ACLU Washington member, and an NAACP member as well, and a resident here of Othello. I just wanted to be opposed to the data centers here in Othello, or a data center here in Othello, possibly. But I just want to speak on it. That's part of the agenda list items, and the key things I wanted to point out on your agenda packet regarding the data centers that I wanted to highlight. But first off, I just want to start off an opinion piece here. Long-term versus short-term jobs. Most companies will state that it will boost the economy. However, most are short-term during the construction phase. Study needs to be done on this. Several data centers reps indicate that a typical 250,000 square foot data center may have at least the full-time workers, which are contracted workers. Let's see, get here, turn to the next page. Another thing that I looked through your packet here regarding the data centers that's on your list here. These systems use potable water that comes from public water systems. Water consumption refers to the portion of the withdrawn water that does not return to the source and is effectively lost. Peak water withdrawal often occurs during the hottest days of the year when others need water the most. Also, that's on the agenda packet thing is in 2023, US data centers consume an estimated 176 terawatt hours, TWH, for electricity, more than that annual consumption of the entire state of New Jersey. Data centers accounted for roughly 4% of the US electricity demand, a figure projected to rise up to 6 to 12% by 2028. That demand surge is a key factor behind the projected national electricity consumption increased of 15 to 20% over the next decade. And the other question I have regarding Councilman Chris Durrell's comment on my page, AJ Mendez Media Productions, that I produced these screenshots of the data centers, of the presentation that you guys have here on the list. The only question I have is, what is an ASR plant? And why is it a data center needed in the future regarding the ASR plant? And that's the reason why I'm fully against it. Honestly, my honest opinion, is the most dumbest idea that I've ever come across. When we're dealing with a swimming pool that's not even functional, you can't even come up with funds to come up with fixing the swimming pool, either repair it or fix it, let alone the lights at Lions Park. regarding the tennis court and the playground area. So what's more important, swimming pool, lights, where families can attend the Lions Park in the evenings? As the basketball court's only lit, as the rest of the park is mainly just dark. And that's the reason why I'm against this data center. And that the fact that so much water is going to be wasted, it's going to affect agriculture businesses. I would be impressed if any of you guys on the board could bring at least 4 to 8 farmers, landowners, could come up here and admit that they're willing to give up their land and property, agriculture for a data center. I would love to see that. I would be impressed by that. Until then, I don't think there's going to be anyone out there within far reach of a data center of wanting them to admit of them wanting to give up their property, their livestock, the only way to support their own families over a damn data center. That's the reason why I wanted to come up here on this board, that I'm fully against it. Honestly, it's the most dumbest idea I've ever heard. And I said that explicitly on my video. The most dumbest idea I've ever heard. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? We got 2. But you guys arm wrestle for it.
Carlson, 2213 South Broadway Avenue. I just wanted to, I guess, enlighten you guys of an action that the council did last meeting. They're thinking about selling the parking lot north of the library. And what I remember, it's been a long time ago, there's some businesses on the west side of First Street across from the library that didn't have enough parking. So to get the parking way around it was to let them use a city parking lot north of the library. And then after that, the city or planning commission or whatever decided to make it a no place to park zone. And I have a hunch that part of that discussion where he didn't require parking was probably tied to the availability of a city parking lot, so people have a place to park. And now they're thinking about selling that. So I just want to let you know that. I don't know if there's anything you can do about that, but I think parking should be provided by the businesses that do it, or if the city allows it, they shouldn't say, well, you can allow it because we have city parking and then sell a parking lot. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. And I've always talked to the planning commission about this before, not requiring businesses to provide the parking for themselves. You're hoping that a responsible business next door provides the parking for the irresponsible business that doesn't want to provide parking. I was on the hospital board for a lot of years, went to a lot of educational things, and they flat told us, hope is not a strategy. And it sounds like to me, the parking here in Othello, hope is their only strategy. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Bob.
Good evening, everyone. I am Kenya Luna, a recent Othello High School graduate and proud resident and community member of Othello. I would like to discuss the construction of a data center here in Othello. First of all, what type of data center will it be? Will it be built by a major company or will it be privately owned? My main concern involves the challenges that accompany the construction of a data center. Depending on how the city plans to cool off and power the center, the residents of Othello will be greatly impacted. Due to the amount of heat these data centers produce, a way of cooling them off is required. Where will this data center get its water from? Water consumption levels are important to know when planning because this includes water that is lost. According to the National League of Cities and the Center for Scientific Evidence in Public Issues, by 2027, global AI systems could withdraw more water annually than a few small countries combined. Additionally, the amount of electricity it would take to operate a data center would cause a strain on local power grids. Just a few weeks ago, we had the power go out through a large portion of the city. Even McDonald's had to shut down for a bit. In case of such a thing, these data centers often have diesel backup generators, which can cause certain health outcomes in susceptible individuals. Another concern involves where this thing would even be built. Discussions of expanding Othello will be made today, but I'm unsure whether a data center is something the people want. The people want more houses and businesses, not a data center that will release harmful emissions and create only a few hundred jobs. Speaking of, how many jobs will this create for the people of Othello, and how many of those jobs will be permanent? Other concerns involve noise pollution. Some cases of tinnitus have come up in areas where data centers have been built. Light pollution, a decreased quality of life, in water scarce regions, fetuses being harmed, the killing of our livestock, and the harm to our planet. Othello's population is roughly 8,500 people. According to data from the Grant County Economic Development Council and the Grant County Industrial Alliance, only roughly 900 staff are employed at the data centers in Grant County, not including work vendors. Grant County alone is estimated to have a population of roughly 100,000 people. That is only a small portion. That is all I have to say.
Thank you. Come on up.
Sandy Duffy, Adams County Emergency Management. I am the LEPC, which stands for Local Emergency Planning Committee for Adams County. We meet every other month and have discussions. The premise behind LEPC was originated after Bhopal, meaning hazardous chemicals. The zoning that you are looking at on the north side of Lee Road scares the living daylights out of me. You're putting light industrial right across the street from industrial. Light industrial, according to your code, can contain hazardous materials. It's not a matter of if, it's when it happens. You're putting it on the side of the road. We get our prevailing winds from the west, southwest. Those winds will blow right into that residential area. You've already allowed and grandfathered in all the businesses on the west side of Broadway and the housing on the east side. One of the things that we analyze in our meetings and talk about are the hazardous materials that are located on Broadway. And what is the city going to do when there's a release of these chemicals? So the analysis talks about an area that is approximately 330 feet. An area that might need to be evacuated could be up to a half mile. That from Broadway engulfs the entire city. So I'd like the city to think about the liability that they're accepting when they allow this to happen. You already have a high possibility for this happening. And again, it's not a matter of if, it's when. It's called an accident because that's what it is. Valves fail, people have bad days, things break. When that chemical comes out of its containerized unit, it can be within the city in a matter of minutes, which does not provide enough time for people to evacuate or shelter in place. That is my heartache when I see the proposal of light industrial across the street from residential. So I would like to share this with each of you, just to think about it. Again, I had our GIS person draw up a map for this to show where our chemical facilities are and in relationship to the city and the houses and the people and the businesses. And this is something that I believe this committee needs to think about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy with accepting the liability plan on. I mean, my intent is not to live here within the city limits of Othello for forever. As I reach my retirement status, I do plan on moving out, but I don't think it's right for the city to put residents at risk. That's not growing a city. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who has public input?
I wasn't necessarily going to get up. My name is Martin Crowley. I'm the vice chairman of the local emergency planning committee. Been working with Sandy for, I don't know, 3-4 years. But I'm also a member of the State Emergency Response Commission. And in that role, I attend the annual meetings. And there was a nice presentation in April by an attorney who speaks on the subject of municipal liability, and he gave a very good presentation and opened my eyes. As a former attorney myself, I can understand municipal liability, and he says if planning is not taken properly and things happen, municipalities expose themselves to liability. And so it's always a good idea for all planning commissions, city councils, county commissions and stuff to take into consideration the what ifs. And of course, as the, LEPC, SERC, we talk about that kind of stuff all the time. In my private work, I work for a company here in town that transports hazardous materials. And some of our customers are right there down the street. They're at Lineage and at McCain's. And anyway, we happen to have more businesses take anhydrous ammonia, but we hope that there aren't any that put them in right there, right where next to where people are going to live, because that's not the best place to establish those types of environments. So in our recent meeting last week, one of the things that we said, well, do what you want, but exclude hazardous materials, whatever you do. We've got enough right there. If we locate any more, we should, put them a little bit further away from the residents, kind of thing. So think about the residents, think about the what ifs, the kind of things that could happen, because there's never a perfect world. The business that I work with has been there since 1963, since before some people in this room were even born. But and it's got a fantastic safety record in terms of not hurting anyone, type of thing. But those other companies over there, they're moving a lot of ammonia through their systems on a regular basis, and putting people right by them is probably not the greatest idea. And what Sandy mentioned was buffer zones. That's the way to go. I mean, the city has kind of grown out. It was Othello established, 1910. That's a long time ago, 116 years. The city has, kind of grown towards the tracks, so to speak, where, we've been since 1963. And, like Sandy, although she wasn't raised here, I was. So this is my hometown. I went away for a number of years for my occupation and college and all that kind of stuff. Came back here to help my friend run his business. But I'm also at that stage of life that I'm looking forward to retirement. And my retirement is not going to be here because this is not where my family is currently located. And so I will be locating in another part of the country. So I won't be around to see what happens, but I would really be chagrined if in the future poor decisions were made and people were hurt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? Okay. And we will move on to item 3, comprehensive plan update. A big part of our discussion today is going to be the future land use map. And I'm just going to hand it off to you because I know this is going to be much of a presentation for us and information for us that we'll see for the first time. So.
And I'm actually going to hand it off to Aaron, our consultant. I do have 11 by 17 of the map, if anybody needs that.
Yes, please.
Well, I wrote mine, so.
Thank you.
I can prepare. Can I go on your computer here?
Something I want to mention too for the people in attendance, most of the things that the commission's seeing tonight we'll be seeing for the first time, other than when we reviewed our packet. And so I don't know if there's some assumptions that things are going to happen, but this is really a lot of informational stuff for us tonight. So do appreciate the input because it gives us things to think about as we're helping trying to guide the city in its future too. So all part of our long-term planning.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As a reminder, I'm Aaron Merkar with SCJ Alliance. I'm the project manager for the comprehensive plan project that we've been working on for almost a year now. I have a few informational items to review with you tonight, and I'll go through those. But the main purpose of the workshop tonight will be to review the future land use map and identify and discuss potential changes to that. That's the next step in our comprehensive planning process as we start to develop the draft plan. And then let's see. So we do want to be able to have a draft, a revised future land use map for your review in September, just to keep us on a good timeline. So as I go through, I just want to share just some definitions so we can all know, we can all be on the same page. So the comprehensive plan and the zoning code work together, but serve different functions. So I relate the future land use map to the comprehensive plan and the zoning map to the zoning code. And understanding that distinction is important for our discussion tonight. For future land use types, that's what we're going to call the designations in our future land use map. We're looking at broad categories of growth for the future. So we're not necessarily diving into low, medium, and high residential and downtown commercial versus general commercial. We're looking at things that categories that we're okay with having some flexibility within. And that's because we don't necessarily know what the future will bring, but we want to be able to guide that growth in the future somewhat. So those designations will describe the general nature of development that the city envisions over time without designating specific zoning districts. These are not legal districts and are not defined in the code, but the zoning decisions that the city makes in the future must be consistent with them. So zoning districts, in contrast, are legally designated areas outlined in the Othello Municipal Code with specific use and development regulations. Zoning districts determine what a specific development project may actually build on a given property. So any questions on that? Great. Okay, I wanted to provide an update on our community engagement just to set the framework for our discussion tonight. So just some themes from what we've seen throughout the community survey and the public outreach pop-ups that we've done is that residents generally support growth, but want it paired with expanded services and jobs for existing residents. Many have expressed a desire to maintain Othello's small town, family-oriented character, but also expand local options and economic opportunities. Residents support economic growth that expands shopping, dining, education, and tourism opportunities. Education and tourism were the industries most frequently identified that people wanted to see grow here. Increased access to jobs and shopping opportunities were also identified as important improvements. Housing affordability and strain on city services and infrastructure were residents' top 2 concerns about growth in the community survey. And then in our stakeholder interviews, it was identified where infrastructure capacity, particularly water and sewer, and protection of prime agricultural land as the primary constraints on where growth should occur. So those are the items identified by our stakeholder group. Interviewees also pointed to already annexed and utility served areas and locations such as near Walmart and East Main Street towards State Route 17 as logical places for growth. And finally, the Vision 2047 community engagement exercise leaned toward a balance between preserving Othello's small town character and embracing growth for economic opportunity, pointing towards growth that is deliberate and well located, not open-ended. So we really did, I think a few months ago, we looked at, okay, what is our vision for Othello? And the feedback that we got really did align with that middle of the road. We want to be able to maintain our small town and the community that we know, but also seize on opportunities. So that is what we've found in our outreach. Wanted to share additionally some findings from our land capacity analysis. This was done earlier this year in conjunction with some work we'd done last year. The citywide land capacity analysis found an overall surplus of 825 housing units against the projected 2047 need for housing under current zoning and trends. But with the way that the land capacity analysis, with the requirements for looking at allocations based on income, we did find a deficit of 425 units affordable to lower income households, which is defined as 80% of area median income or below. Most of the vacant developable residential land within the current city limits is concentrated in R4 zoning in the Northeast. So just a little more context on that. The way that fully planning communities are directed to look at housing is you need to show that you can, you have capacity for the projected housing needs for all of your income bands. So you can't just say, we need 100 units. The best practices break that down into income bands. So we need 10 units in the low income categories, 50 units in the medium income categories, et cetera. It's a technical process, but Othello does not have to follow that because you are a partially planning community, but we're still trying to follow those best practices and make sure that we're looking at making sure that the city has enough capacity for all income bands.
A question for clarification.
Yes.
So based on the projections, the projection is that we have enough that's currently annexed or going to be annexed to have 825 more housing units than we'll need in 2047. You're saying that a deficit of 425 units in the affordable to lower income households, is that current or a projection as well?
Yeah, that's the projection. So when we're talking about housing units affordable to low income households, that would be the way that Commerce defines that is multifamily. So we're looking at zoning currently in the city that allows for multifamily housing and how much capacity there are in those zones.
So my understanding is that, and Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, the general feeling of the commission before me is that zoning should be R4 to allow all types of construction. So who would project, if everything that's going to be residential is zoned R4, who could possibly project it would be fewer units than we need for low income?
I can answer that one if you don't
Okay.
know that. So when we looked at it, we assumed that a lot of the R4 would not be developed as multifamily, that it would be developed as single family. And so we had percentages, as I think the way we did it, of the R4 land. Some of it will be developed multifamily, but a lot of it would be developed as single family. And so that's where we end up with that.
So it's complete as a
Deficit.
complete guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of
There's a lot of guesses.
Based on trends,
Because it
but
can be,
also if there's, I think developers usually build based off of where they see need, right? It isn't in our job to project what the need is. I guess my question is how do we do anything about that when we're already talking about going R4 to allow multifamily? What more could we do?
well, I think when it comes to what we can do, not really anything besides what the
Jose,
city
do you have
can.
your microphone on? I can barely hear you.
Can you hear me now?
To the delicate voice.
Test. Maybe I'm putting it wrong. I think, I think when it comes to what you were talking about, like we may not be able to do anything. The city can do what they did last time where they incentivized for multi-family with taxes, but like if the land is zone R4, they don't have to put multifamily on there. They can do single family. So we can't force any developer to do multi-family, but we
Yeah.
can incentivize.
We can't as a commission,
Well,
Right.
the city can't.
but we're saying, I guess I'm just trying to, as we move forward here, because I want to be thinking, okay, what can we as a commissioners do to help out in this process? And so Chris has an idea, both have an idea.
I just wanted to add something that we had discussed when we were previously talking about how to correct the deficit we were in for housing. And something that we had done, and I don't know if it's something that the commission can review again, but is changing current zones right now that are not R4s to R4s. Now, that would have to pass through city council if I remember correctly. But that was something when we were on planning commission, we wanted to do to fix now so that when we plan for the future, we were catching up on the deficit.
Well, how did that fix it when there's no empty lots in those?
So
Zones.
those, if it's R2 and you change it to an R4 and someone buys a house and takes it down, they can now put a duplex in where a single family home is. That fixes, it changes density in the area, but it fixes current housing needs. So there is a large portion of Othello that's like a R1, R2, not a large portion, but there are
It's a large
spots-
portion that's R2.
Yes,
very
that
large.
is R2. If we change that to R4, that helps that deficit that we're in.
But
And that might be something you guys might be worth vetting as you're going forward, because you're right, it is a guess, right? We make everything R4, are we gonna be able to change the deficit we're currently in? But that could also help address it. So
So my question with that though is if we change an R2 to an R4, we would be in the same position if we designated an empty lot to an R4, because we're guessing that owner will then demolish that house and put a duplex.
at the time, we did have people who were buying houses who were asking us to change zones so they could put duplexes in. So at the time that we had gone through this, there were people who were buying homes and wanting to take them down and turn them into duplexes. I mean, it makes more money that way, and it also alleviates housing needs.
Well, you could do that in R2, right?
You can do that in R2.
You don't have to build a duplex. It's only R1 that won't allow a duplex. I guess, and this is not necessarily for this discussion, but I have other thoughts on that, but thank you. I see.
And
I
it
see
was
what you're
just
talking about.
to add to what you guys were going off of.
Okay. Chris, did you have something else?
Just again, background on some of those things that we presented in the past is we also looked, if you know, the town has been built at different times, had different rules, had different circumstances. So you can see, as much as I hate to say it, some of the aging areas are already kind of leaning towards a higher population, a higher density within those areas. And I mean, they almost define themselves when you look at them. I think one of the concerns was that somebody would buy a house, demolish it, and put up a triplex or a quadplex. Well, that's not probably still a reality today, but within the 10-year plan, some of those places, and actually Jake has mentioned a few of the ones to me that he was concerned about that had, if the area was zoned differently, might have housing on it. So as these areas transition, you might think about what those transitional zones might look like and where that's appropriate in town.
Now,
Okay.
I guess my question is with the trends, is that including with the annexes that have occurred?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly because I think you've had a recent annexation, so I can't remember how much we included.
Yeah, right. I don't remember when we did the land capacity analysis compared to the Hampton annexation. So that may be additional land that wasn't included in that figure. But again, it was zoned R4, so it would be kind of the same.
Yeah. So I think in general, these are, yes, the land capacity analysis makes a lot of assumptions. What we're trying to do our best projection to show what we think might reasonably happen. And I think that's the crux of it, is what will reasonably happen. That's why we're assuming a certain percentage of single family development in an R4 zone, because we don't expect, even though we have technically the capacity for all of that to be multifamily, we're trying to look at what those trends are and history is showing us will actually occur. But yes, there are a lot of assumptions made along the way.
So you're, based on the trends, you're saying it's more likely that developers will build 800 more single-family homes than is needed, rather than say, there's a multifamily need, maybe we can build 100 fourplexes.
This is just showing, yeah. So I see your confusion, but this is showing just capacity. It's not showing necessarily we think it will all develop like that. It's just trying to show a certain capacity. But I do think it's relevant to our conversation.
So I'll try to follow along.
Yeah. If you have questions, let me know. I think it's relevant to our conversation tonight, though, because we do want to look at really focusing on the growth area outside the city limits. And that is another strategy for accommodating future population, obviously. You guys, as a partially planning community, have more flexibility in annexation and changing of your growth area than fully planning communities do. So that's definitely on the table. Okay. Any questions? All right. So I want to establish some categories for us to have commonality before we move forward. So how do we want to relate future land use types to zoning districts? I have a table here. I can make it bigger. So we have all of the zoning districts on the left column there. And then I just wanted to know kind of what your thoughts were on how specific we want to get in our land use designations. So The second column, Alt 1, keeps things at the highest level possible. We're really just saying residential, commercial. We still distinguish between light and general industrial. And then we do have a mixed use for the medical zone. Alt 2 has a little bit more distinction between the low density and the medium to high density residential. It also keeps the distinction between light and general industrial. So really we're looking at, do we want to, in our growth area, set in the comp plan where we think light or low density versus medium to high density residential should go? Or do we want to keep it at a high level and just say, we don't know enough to know whether this is going to be low or medium or high residential, so we'll just call it residential for now? Any thoughts on that? I've seen it done both ways. Yes.
On that, the determining factor about investment in residential growth is not us, it's financing. If there's a financer that wants to develop and build super quality houses, if they have the money, they will do that.
Is your mic closer on?
I thought it was, no? Oh, the light's on. The determining factor for development is financing. When somebody sees that it's profitable to build economical low income housing, they'll do that if they can make a profit. If they have the same property and they can get financing for super premium houses, they'll do that. So our ability to plan for that doesn't depend on what we do or what the city does. It's what the financial community is willing to support.
See, were you finished?
Oh, I would suggest making the most general plans so that future developers are not shackled in the beginning, that they can make plans and use their imagination.
So kind of piggybacking on what Don said, in that situation, then it would be designated as residential, for instance. And then more specific would happen as a developer comes to the city and then requests a certain type of more specific zoning at that time when they want to develop it. Is that how that would usually look?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if there's a spot that we want to designate as residential, so then it's secured, we have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, well, in this situation, we can be very specific and make it a lower high density or
Correct.
just say residential. Yeah.
So if there's like a certain spot that we would want, we could designate it.
I'm with Don. I think it makes sense to be.
That is the way your current future land use map
When you're talking
functions.
about long-term future land use. Okay. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Because then as it's annexed, if it's just designated as residential, the developer can say, well, he can propose it as one of our zones or, multiple of the zones, what fits whatever they're planning on.
It won't change our zoning or code. In
So
that
the
regard.
zoning would be
have to.
adopted with the annexation.
I mean, this land use terms would not affect our current zoning terms.
No, because we're just looking outside city limits
Yep.
right now.
Okay. I don't think, it's just there's two that haven't answered about, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it makes more sense to just keep it general. We can always go the other direction. We can't necessarily, or it's easier to go the other direction and zone it more specific. Seems like it'd be more difficult. The opposite.
Jose, you're the only one that hasn't answered. Not that it matters. It's democracy and you lose, but it's kidding.
I want everything commercial. No, I was kidding. No, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I don't have anything top of my head that I want to change, so I think it makes sense to make it
So
flexible.
it's like alt one is the
It'll be the
understandable to us. So
Great.
okay.
Makes it simpler too. Okay, so we're going to start looking at the future land use map itself, and we can go and we can pop around a little bit. I'll make some markups on the map as we have our discussion. Another thing I wanted to bring up, I can switch back and forth between the designations too if we need. Let me see, was that on here? Yeah. So another thing I wanted to bring up too is I know that your current growth area is quite large. So when you look at this map, the city limits are removed out of the middle. There's no zoning or color on the map here. So everything with a color is your growth area, which at least doubles the size of the city. So it's quite large. This plan is a 20-year plan. So in my talks with Anne, this is way more area than you will likely need in 20 years for growth, just based on the trends, based on looking at the land capacity analysis. So do we want to plan the entire growth area? There's also an option to talk about an urban reserve type designation where it keeps it even more flexible. So, if you're saying, okay, well, out here, we don't even know if that's residential. If that's not going to develop in the next 20 years, maybe we just keep that as urban reserve, and then it can be even more flexible at that point. So that's just something to keep in mind, whether we are actually going to plan for the entire growth area or keep some of it even more flexible. Does that make sense? Okay. So the thing that sticks out to me when I see this are the pink areas, which are the commercially designated future land use areas. And I'm not sure, I wasn't here last time this was developed, but I just wanted to know if there are any thoughts or if anyone else has context on these areas are designated as commercial. I know there's probably some existing development in some of these areas. But if you have any thoughts, I'd love to know if you think these are in the right places, if they're looking like they might turn
do you
into
have any
commercial
comments on
nodes in
the
the future.
commercial spots besides the one that's on 17 in the middle of nowhere?
I've been around
Yeah, very
doing
few of
this
the
long
people
enough
in
to
this
know.
room were around when this map was done. Chris probably was. Gina probably was. Bob, that's
Yeah.
it. For history, and
Okay.
since we don't really have much history, then I think we just have to go with what we know about what's there and what we expect in the future.
What's the purple spot that's right there that's attached to 17? Is that the country farms? But country farms on the other side of the road. When you take that exit, you take a left into it. That's on the right side. No, I'm saying if you look at the road, I'm looking at if you take the right, but it's red on the right side of that road that you take a right on.
I like to make assumptions being colorblind. It's looked really different to me.
That was the only thing I could see for that spot was I couldn't see my house, and it would be on that side of Venture, right?
It's fairgrounds, right?
Where's it at again? Oh, it's the
fairgrounds. I mean, it's a field right now.
But
North of the fairgrounds,
wouldn't wouldn't all of that where the fairgrounds at? Because there's also like some would there be more commercial spot in that area?
So this is what was done in 2015. So we're just looking at what was done then. And so we need to think about, do we want to continue with that? Do we want to make changes?
Can you zoom in where the pet rescue is at? The Adams County Pet Rescue?
It's on the south side of Bench.
It's to the east of that, right?
Should I type it in? Is it? I zoom in. Here's the fairgrounds. Okay.
Probably future growth, future commercial because of the traffic on it.
Bench 17.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like right across the street from the pet rescue, there's like a yard, like a shipyard, like not a shipyard, but no, isn't it right next to it? Or like a semi, like a.
Yeah, there is a semi.
I was thinking this is Ben. That's 26.
Yeah. This one's 26.
Okay, I'm looking in the wrong spot. This is what they're
But
talking
it's out
about.
in the county, so it's
That's what I
not.
find, pet rescue.
But when we're talking about like
Right
future
here.
growth, do we want to make any of that area into commercial?
Right there, right?
Mm.
Well, there's already commercial lots in there now. There's a trucking company.
That's what I said.
So I don't remember if Aaron talked about it here, but we don't currently have a designation for public land. So like the fairgrounds or city hall or parks, we don't have a designation currently, which is to me a little bit weird.
So
Thanks for reminding me of that, Ann.
Think about that for a second before you roll your eyes out. I want to buffer the fairgrounds.
to make it bigger.
But you're gonna label them all the same color, public space, so the fairgrounds and the city hall are gonna need buffer space.
Well, we're just talking about the future growth, right? So the future growth of the fairgrounds, we could designate, we can designate it as
Hampton House.
public grounds, right? Or are you talking about urban to preserve it? So then that way the surrounding areas stays where it needs to stay.
I think with and you're talking about a public designation, or
Yeah, so if we make the fairgrounds into
Actually get serious on
a
this.
public, then the surrounding areas won't be zoned into a commercial or large industrial because of the public zoning on the public
He
safety
wants it to be urban.
or on the fairground.
yeah, if it depends on the limits, but yes, that would be a way to identify that we want to keep that as a public use.
Something we have not used a lot in the past, and I would probably highly recommend it based on some of the stuff I saw over the past half year, is utilizing urban reserve. The way I look at urban reserve, correct me if I'm wrong, if you want growth, for example, closer to the city, having some of this area in urban reserve on the other side of Bench Road would probably be wise if you're looking to have that growth be more. I mean, I think that creates that directional growth as opposed to having the potential of an island of the city outside of the city. So all of the things that you're talking about, protecting the fairgrounds, the businesses that are in that, if you just called it urban reserve, it remains as is, and the focus goes then to the north of Bench Road for your next, we're making a 10-year plan, right?
What's 20?
20-year plan. So the next 20-year plan, do you expect that growth to go outside of that area? Probably not.
Well, considering the projection is that we'll have 800 more housing units than we'll need in 20 years, I would say probably not.
So that might be to protect all those areas, to keep everything as is. It's probably easier just to call it urban reserve. And it will probably decrease the number of public input you're going to have if you do that.
And so that's just basically saying, does that designate an urban reserve, just saying, we expect that's where the future
Someday.
annexation will go,
Yeah.
but we have no idea what it might be.
It'd be saying like, okay, we expect this someday to happen, but maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we can have a similar meeting to this and say, okay, now we're ready to designate future land uses in that
Look
area.
north of Bench first, please.
A lot of this I look at that would make sense. That would be more honest to designate it as urban reserve then, because.
So are we thinking, I mean, I'm hearing Bench Road might be a little bit of a boundary. I don't know how far that extends. But if
And the canal on the west, everything west of that could also be.
Okay.
Well, I don't want to
I
preserve.
send it the whole way down Bench Road until you hear otherwise. I mean, anybody who would want to be part of the city would already be probably talking about it.
Well, like you said, we had that. You can't do the island thing.
Right, this prevents it.
Yeah.
Well, we can build up to it, right? That's what I'm saying.
And then you can change it, once you're up at that Bench Road, once you built up to there, then he's right, then we have this meeting again and move that urban reserve and label it all up.
Could that be something that the commission could do without having to go through a long-term planning process as well?
No, it would be
You have to do it now.
it would be a comprehensive plan amendment process.
Okay.
You're talking
Which
about,
is going to supposed to happen again in 10 years.
Well,
Anyway.
in 10 years, we definitely have to look at it. We can amend it sooner.
Okay.
no, I really doubt this will happen, but if we ever do, then can the city reverse our decision of reserving this as urban?
Oh, yeah, they can
Yes.
do anything they want.
So like if all of a sudden, if a developer comes and say, we're going to build this, not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, they can say, oh, scratch the urban, we're going to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoning change.
Yeah. Okay.
A comprehensive plan amendment.
I think the big thing you're accomplishing with it, Jose, and I love the question and the thought process is, how much can you do? You can do a little bit, but this really will encourage growth in a particular direction. Considering the amount of resistance the other side of Bench Road was recently, it's probably not a bad thing to do.
So I guess I'm okay with it. My thing is, do we want it all the way down to 17? Like, how far do we want to? Or do you want to do the
I
whole
would.
thing?
Yeah, so south of Bench Road, but what are the east and west boundaries for this particular section?
I think,
It's in the current growth area, all the way down. The big area, I realize, but I mean, the other aspect is you also have a lot of agriculture going on in that area, so. I mean, your survey said preserving ag area is pretty important, so.
yeah.
Kind of orchards on that other side of the golf course.
I just want to make sure that I also give those farmers an opportunity. If something needs to be developed, they can go. That's why I was asking if the city council, if they go to the city council and wants to reverse it, there's an opportunity. We're not like just halting anything if a farmer decides to develop something.
So
Along Highway 24, Broadway, as it extends south, would you still want it at Bench Road just to be all urban reserve, or would you want more of a corridor potentially along
this
Highway 24?
only comes into play if annexation
If it's
moves out
annexed,
there.
yes.
I think it's, I mean, I realistically, that could probably annex before anything else, just because this current city south border annexation is so close to it. But I was thinking beyond that, like the golf course situation right now, a developer might want to develop that, but it wouldn't matter if they could still develop it as a county residential area too, right? So it wouldn't stop them from doing that.
Right. Yeah. The advantage to being in the city is you can get city services and develop to a higher density, but you need to be connected to the city. So golf course is a little kind of far at this point.
I'm okay with Bench Road being the division the whole way.
Yeah, it's just, there's ways around it if things need to happen. So it's not like we're.
And also, you're not making the decision tonight. I mean, this is not the end. This is the beginning of the discussion. We have to have public hearings and go through a whole process. So we're just like talking and discussing at this point.
Jeannie and Mike.
Oh, happy birthday.
I just was gonna say, if you're gonna, looking at the map, if you were going to do a urban growth area, which I think it's a great idea, I would preclude your commercial areas that are marked because there are commercial businesses, I think, in those areas already. And I know they're not in the city, but I would still have those as commercial growth areas. No, you just, I wouldn't preclude your commercial areas that you already have there because I think that those are going to be areas that commercial is going to develop and already is developing.
So if those commercial properties requested an annexation because they wanted city services, which I think is not likely, then what would the process be, Ann?
You'd have to go through a comprehensive plan amendment, but I think I do like the idea of if it's already existing commercial, then why not show it as future commercial in our land use designation? Unless, Aaron, do you have a thought on?
Yeah, no, I think it seems reasonable if Bench Road is generally a boundary, but it does cut through this node that has been identified in the past. We could just keep it along and then just carve around it and keep the boundary there. Yes. So Bench Road, but we'll circumvent the designated commercial node. But
how does everyone feel about that? I'm getting nods.
Yep.
Don?
Yes, it's fine with me.
Okay.
So I'm curious about this. So this isn't looks pretty similar to the current one, but that roundabout at Bench Corner, Bench and Bob's Corner, that southwest corner, is that currently zoned as residential? Because there's a business there right now.
You're talking about the truck mechanic.
No, southwest corner. What is that? A little grocery store?
Oh, Jay's Market. Yeah, well, that's what I think they were talking about, making that whole corner into.
So that's the county, not the city. So this is just growth area. They could get annexed into, so you could add to the city.
Okay.
But I think if it is already used commercially and we think that that's a good use, then we should designate it commercial.
Yeah.
I think that's been agreed on.
So I think maybe that business wasn't there when this map was done in 2015, or maybe they didn't think of that.
Now, and I hate to be the guy, but there's also behind that Jay's where there's those trailer parks. Do we want to put that Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, that's what I'm saying. We're going really deep into the things, but I mean, we can go and mark everything residential, but I think overall, I think we'll be fine. I don't want to get too much in the weeds.
So are we talking about maybe including that some parcels on that southwest side?
Yeah, and I would
section?
say that's a big parking lot with some like taco trucks in there. Maybe both those lots, from what it looks like to me, both those lots are currently being used commercially. Is that correct? Everyone agree with that?
So that would just be these two. I'll change the color of that.
And that would make sense that you have all four corners of a major intersection would
Yeah.
be commercial.
Where, we're trying to zoom in with our camera, we can't really see. Where is the proposal we saw the other day at city council for the new roundabout? For a Circle K, is it inside of that pink square? Does that pink square?
No.
Inside city limits.
It's city limits.
It's already what's current.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, never mind. I think I'm good.
Will this designation have any effect on the church that's there on the south side of Bench Road, the AG Church?
No, because all of that's considered urban and reserved. So if anybody in that area decides to change anything, they would just have to do an amendment on the comprehensive plan. So we're not really doing anything solid. So because I was worried about the trailer park too, and I was like, well, we should mark that. But then I was like, no, it's all.
I was mostly wondering about what is the zoning for a church?
So I think it's a conditional use in most zones right now.
Okay.
That's how we have it.
Okay.
Okay, are we generally okay with this proposal?
I think so.
I wanted to go back to this commercial node here too, because I was looking when we were over there. That looked like this rail, or is it irrigation ditch maybe? Is that what this is?
More,
Okay.
it's more. Keep going towards the.
So that's this area here is this pink area, it would appear.
Is there a reason why that's?
I guarantee it's got drainage pipes.
Well, they should all be that color.
Is there a reason why that's purple?
Jana, do you have insight?
I don't exactly remember what the reason, but I can probably tell you that the thought process was that's a pretty busy intersection, especially during, and it's one of the few intersections off of 17 down that way. So it was probably designated commercial growth because it's right there along the highway.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you just can't have the building on the drain pipes, or if they can close them off, there's a lot of things they can do.
Car wash.
Mhm.
They can put car wash.
Again, I think that's so far out in the future.
Yeah, it is.
Our
It's out in the
designation
future,
probably is
but
not
I
gonna-
think that it makes sense
Put a
as a
car wash
commercial
again.
node because it's, like I said, it's one of the larger intersections right off of the highway, and it makes sense to have commercial along those areas.
No, country cousins as far as.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would be good. Yeah, I mean, there's only time that place gets a lot of traffic is during fair
It just
season.
looks like a house probably.
Well, and then also when there's detours.
So
And
Yeah,
if you
I
don't
think
have an
this is-
answer tonight,
it's
that's
so
okay.
far
too, But
down the road that I'm fine with the rest of it to the north being what it is. If you guys are too.
I'm okay
On
with
that
it.
map where the interchange is on Highway 26,
Yes. It's pretty close there.
that will rapidly become commercial. Interchanges like that all over the state are magnets to attract commercial development. And we don't have it designated anything now, but it will quickly become commercial in the next 10 years.
Would we? But I don't know if we're able to cross 17.
talking about the
So the interchange
section-
at 26 and 17.
Realistically, annexation requests, that would probably be one of the first ones if someone want to do something commercial on a highway. What about making a strip like it is on the north side? South.
Now I do got something.
Okay, so are we talking about, we've maybe moved on, but are we keeping this commercial node just above the urban reserve
I'm
area
okay
for
with
now.
leaving that as it is.
Okay.
What's everyone else think?
And then now we're looking at this one further north here.
I hate to do this to you guys.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do. You're right, I
You
don't.
don't have to do it.
I just, when you're thinking about, not that I want to blow this all apart, but I am going to blow it apart. I'm not sure in your planning, in our long-term planning, allowing residential all the way up directly to the highway might be, I mean, just bringing it up for consideration. Do you want residential right up to the highway?
No.
I kind of had a feeling that would probably get said, that no, you probably don't want residential right to the highway.
I'm okay.
Although you
with-
might, I don't know, just
They're just
kind of
stripping
bringing it
it.
up for consideration.
Be a good
And
place.
at which case, then bringing commercial all the way down the highway or something all the way down the highway might not be a bad idea as a buffer transition, whatever you want to call it.
It'd be a good place for a park.
It'd be for a lot of things.
Just to play devil's advocate, there are houses along 17 in Moses Lake, and there are lots of noise mitigating buffer solutions that were put in. So, I mean, there are areas where it's done and it works.
Yeah, but
Not that you have to, but if you're considering it, there are options.
Maybe it was because of poor planning.
There must be a dozen of them.
That's where you had to put a wall up though.
But it worked.
But, and also Department of
On
Transportation.
one side,
said they're
apparently
not
the
gonna
other
put a
people
wall on
don't
the other
matter.
side. When the housing was developed on the other side, they said they just have to deal with the noise.
If the developer wanted to, that could be a request that the city makes of them. I'm not saying you have to, I'm just saying
So
if you're considering it.
if we decided though to say that's all going to be commercial and just do strips all the way down both those highways, it doesn't mean that a developer can't come and ask for the city for something different, right?
Yeah.
But I think it makes sense because if we're going to have it on the north side of 26, why wouldn't we have it on the south side as well? And why wouldn't we have it coming down the east side of or west side of 17?
That's what I was thinking.
It's more congruent with what is in city limits right now. So that makes sense to me. It doesn't have to be.
A different.
And there's
Valuable to a commercial business for the exposure.
there, I will just bring up the option to, we don't have a mixed use designation on this land use map currently. But that could be an option if we're, not sure between commercial, residential, that would leave it open to either or some, combination.
What was
some
that again?
mixed use
Sorry.
type development.
Mixed use.
Mixed use. Yeah.
And then it leaves it open to either. If that's the
So we could
designation.
define it as mixed use areas. You could annex those as, either commercial or probably more of the higher density residential, or a mix. So that is an option if we want to add that.
It might be a happy
type.
medium. Thoughts on that? Just
I'm
another color for me to try to figure out.
I'm okay with. Are we talking about the one that's highlighted red right now?
I don't think it has to go that deep personally. I don't think it has to come off the road more than, look at how narrow the one is on the north side where we have Olympia Street, or not Olympia. What's it going to be there just north of 26? What's that street?
Columbia.
Columbia, thank you. That's not very much. So we don't have to go as far as those 2 blocks are, but you'd go in a couple hundred feet. But again, if you go mixed use, it doesn't matter.
You know what I would like to see? I would like to see a dealership.
What?
Dealership.
How does this look? Is this kind of what you were
That's okay in
thinking,
mixed
or
use,
is
it's
it
allowed.
even thinner on the
Comment.
17 side?
Good comment.
Go ahead, Jake.
Grab the mic.
Just an idea regarding this right here. Is there any ideas for any venues for like concerts? That's not often talked about, but yet Moses Lake has revenue of concerts, venues, parks, McCosh Park. Mainly that's their main area. But think of the possibility of that adding that to concert venues. Think of the ticket prices that could generate revenue here, tourists, whatnot. Instead of just boring old houses, residential areas, which typically is the norm, let's kick out of this box and create something that's gonna create more tourism, attraction, venues, concerts, rather if it be open or closed. That's gonna knock Othello out the box and put it on the map. That's what I just want to throw out there.
Would mixed use include that as well? Give an option for something like that?
We could define it as such.
I think that would be public use.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the idea of defining that as mixed use, and then we determine what mixed use includes.
Mhm.
How does everyone else feel about that?
Is that including these existing pink squares as well?
You're talking about
That
the
whole-
purples?
Yeah, these ones, these purple areas.
That one that's just south of 26 is huge.
Which
And the only thing that's in there right now is a house and a farm field.
No, that's big.
You're talking about?
I think because
Where
it
Hampton-
matches up
Hampton
with the
House is
port
there.
property that's on the west side of Reynolds Road, which is also commercial the whole distance except for the two houses at the very south
Oh, it
end.
was matching that.
I think it was just
Okay.
matching.
That makes more sense.
You're talking about the whole farm circle?
Talking about
Yeah, these two houses right here. This is right here.
right here, yeah. So there's just one house right there.
Yep.
But I see, yeah, that's a good point, Dan. It is probably because of the port being
I
right on
think
the
it was
other
just
side.
matching.
And that's not colored on this because that is annexed.
It's in the city, yeah.
It matches the port property. Yeah, I think
That's the reason. It just matches the frontage of the port property on the,
Are you talking about the square or are you talking about what we just defined?
No, the pink square.
Yeah, that's what I was just asking, but apparently it's because the port is directly
but
across
that's
the
what it
street.
was then. That doesn't mean it needs to stay that way. So if we think it's too big, we can make it smaller.
Just to, yeah, just to answer Jake's question real quick. When a park goes in an area, it's mostly because of how many houses are built in that area, correct? Or who dictates where a park gets placed? Isn't it determined based on the residencies in that area? Or no?
So, I mean, we have basically two parks that have been existing for a long time. So that's something as new development happens, we'll have to be thinking about that. Developers are required to dedicate 5% of the land or pay a fee equivalent to 5% of the land. But we haven't really had that happen yet.
Correct, but we're talking about future growth. So like say a developer comes and decides to do 3 multi-complexes, families, they're gonna have to put a park somewhere nearby, I'm assuming.
Depends
right?
on how much, for multifamily, they have to dedicate 10% of the area. So
There are CWs that dictate how much park land has to match up with how much residential development there is.
Okay.
It's in the law. There you go.
And just out of curiosity, if you're going to, you've got the big pink square that matches up with the port property, which is commercial. And if you're talking about mixed use, and with Jake's comments about different types of venues, such as soccer complexes, concert complexes, things like that, it would make more sense to, I think it would make more sense to match it up all the way down to the highway junction. Yeah, because that would be an ideal place for that type of venue, commercial properties, hotels, motels, things like that.
I'm fine with that. It's mixed use. It gives a lot of options.
So
I don't like being put in a position. How about we make the whole thing that's yellow mixed use? Because I don't like being put in a position where we're saying, yeah, we know what's going to happen in 20 years. So.
No.
If we do, I mean, is
You don't
that,
like
is
that,
that
okay?
enough mixed use?
Because because what ends up happening when if you do that, then it's who gets the cookie first, right? If someone decides to come in and puts in commercial or light industrial because it's mixed use, then it kind of follows the rest of
Light industrial
Fine.
wouldn't fit into mixed use.
We can define mixed use, what that means, though. We don't have to have light industrial as part of that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Explain
and that'd
this.
be, it'd really only likely be commercial and residential uses allowed.
Okay, I'm good with that if everyone else is.
Yep.
So real quick, just what's public use for? What is the definition of public use?
Use of the public.
We haven't defined it. Usually, if we're going to designate it as public, it's just any public facility. So it could be school land, it could be utilities, fairgrounds.
Okay. Just you don't want a new city hall somewhere out there?
Okay.
No, I'm just
I
joking.
do want to.
Think about it in regards to, I think you're doing a good thing because what you've done with where your urban reserve is, you're telling people, develop these other areas first. You start putting more and more on, it gets harder and harder to do stuff. I think you're smart to kind of have your mixed use area because I think you should have the opportunity for commercial, have a little bit of buffer around the highway and potential growth. But you start going deeper into it, you're just making it harder for people to do stuff. I think in your head, think about where do you want residential first? Where do you want commercial first? And why? So like somebody who doesn't know anything about the area goes looking for a place for a commercial site, ooh, this might be an option.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm good.
Move on to this area if there are no more comments.
Which area?
So we do have another commercial node out west here.
You know what it is?
History.
It's right there down Little Mix.
It was designated commercial because if you look, that curved area, that's railroad. That's rail.
Yeah, we get the railroad.
Yeah, so they wanted to designate that as commercial to it's businesses that can utilize the rail.
Commercial uses.
Current rail in there.
That'd be more light industrial
The
or industrial.
So what were they supposed to get out of the rail there?
It was just designated as that as places that could be commercial businesses because of the rail service there. Because of the access to rail.
But is it used?
I really do not want industrial right in there. Not the middle of residential.
As many homes just designated as future use.
No, that was a good idea. It's just a bad location.
A lot of people own there.
There's already a lot of people there.
Right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's surrounded by a lot of houses already.
Now, if that's commercial use, would that count for, would that count for school? On commercial?
No,
No?
can't put a school, you can't, you can put a school in residential. You can't put it in commercial.
I'm not sure about that. Let me look.
Yeah. Almost.
I could be wrong, but I'm sure. Put it in commercial.
What if we designated everything west of the canal mixed use?
I mean, nothing's permanent, so I mean, what the heck?
That's what I said.
Because what's already surrounding it.
That's what I said, yellow.
Yeah, the yellow is residential.
So schools, public or private, are not allowed in C1 and are outright permitted in C2 and C3.
So outright permitted it, but on commercial?
C2 and C3, but not C1.
I'm talking about the purple though. Are we still on the purple side?
Sorry, what?
Are we still on the purple?
I don't like when you
Yeah,
talk
yes,
about those colors.
we're looking at the purple area here.
A handicap, and he's exploiting me.
Schools are conditional use in any residential zone, the way the zoning is currently.
That'd be a good site for a school. Is that?
And I heard people like talking about it, so I'm
No.
letting you know.
It would
what
not be
the
a good site
rules
for
are
a school there.
currently.
Huh?
It would not be a good site for a school.
Is that what the land ownership in this area is?
It's farmland. That's all it is.
I think somebody
Thing.
wanted to develop it for residential, is what I believe.
Yeah, I think the last time someone wanted to do housing.
Mike Anderson owns that. The school district talked about it before for a school.
No, I was right first.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I know the school district talked about it.
Why didn't want to shut me down this mixed use thing? I mean, it could be either or. It could be either or.
Are you going mixed use again?
But it won't be able, but if you do mixed use, you told me it won't count for commercial, or no, it would count for commercial.
Don't put words in my mouth.
All right. I'm okay, we can put in mixed use.
I would say that most of that land in there is mixed use anyways, right? There's commercial and residential through that area.
Yeah, but that residential is really bad, like it's horrible in that place. I mean,
What's horrible?
Doesn't
the
matter.
residential that it's butt into, that little square, that little triangle on the very top.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying everything west of the canal.
But
That's what I said.
So there's also, I mean, yeah. Is there anything? It does look
I just have a
it's
Larry,
more
the whole
developed
thing
out here,
west
but
of
is there anything out here
Mixed use.
western
later.
boundary for an urban reserve?
If someone wants
'Cause
annexation.
we have it
then
down
you
here
talk about what
at
it's gonna
Bench
be.
Road. Does it turn north at all? Or is that out of the question? You know, just kind of curious if that, because this seems maybe too surrounded by development already to be urban reserve. Just some thoughts.
yeah, do mixed use.
No, don't do that, because you don't want to push people away from doing development there.
But if you put it as mixed, like Rob said, then.
Yeah.
you can do whatever they want.
Well, I
Exactly.
like that idea.
And by the time Little Mix becomes city, it's gonna be a long time. So I say mixed use. I'm okay with it. I agree. I concur.
Not just that, we're talking about everything west of the canal, I think. Not just that
Everything west of
section.
Canal. Like this?
Yep. From highway or from Bench
Yeah.
Road up.
No, I would say I would go more towards what road is that?
Why you gotta complicate it now, Jose?
Taylor Road.
Why wouldn't you go past it? All the way to the edge of the,
Thoughts on
Yeah, just go from Taylor Road. this
everything
way,
west of
mixed
the
use.
canal?
They can do whatever they want. And
Everything west of the canal be what?
That's the proposal currently.
we were talking about the whole time, Chris. and you
no,
agreed
because
with-
that you're missing a portion of it where it could
I thought you were
be.
just talking about the land set.
I thought you were talking about the pink square.
I say
The
from
pink or
Taylor.
the purple, you
I think
guys,
from
come on.
Taylor from back can be.
On my paper, it's pink. I agree with you.
It's gray.
I would say just a question, a general question with this, and this might be out of pocket, but with what Stanley brought to the attention, right, of figuring out where do we want to do heavy industrial.
Forget gas, Little Mexico.
No, I'm just saying, like, within this big scope of area, has anybody decided to like figure out a spot to maybe do that somewhere?
To put more heavy industrial down there? than
No,
we have?
The-
Or light
the-
industrial?
Light
There's so
industrial.
many homes down there. That's a huge population.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, has anybody within this conversation, or since we've been talking about all this area, has not considered light industrial anywhere? Just throwing it out there. I haven't. I'm just saying it's an opportunity to speak about it.
As a note, this turquoise area is light industrial, I believe.
Really? Ain't that where all the housing is at?
No, those were all those truck shops, there's a bunch
like-
of businesses back there.
Right in here.
Yeah, I did think about that. The place, it's an odd thing, but the place we should put industries of all sorts is out at Bruce. They're away from everything. They have lots of land. They have rail access.
Which is
I don't know
interesting
if that's
because then
within our
there's
purview,
this,
but my plan would be to take any industry that has toxic problems and say, the Port District out of Bruce would be happy to build something for you. That would allow us to solve a problem without getting knee deep in it.
And I think the only thing that we could do to cause that is to take it all away from
Just suggest it.
our plan, right? And then
Yeah.
if anyone wanted to put more heavy industrial or light industrial, we say, not around here, head east.
It's not that far. They have everything. The area in Bruce is perfect for industrial development. They have railway, they have a big power line going in there, they already have gas. And not many communities have that, and we would have the ability to say, instead of moving all these houses, why don't you move your industrial plant 4 miles to the east?
is there any argument for saying south of the railroad, west of the canal, goes in urban reserve, maybe potentially future industrial in that area, depending on how things develop, but could be urban reserve for now. North of the railroad, we keep it, either this residential mixed use area. I also wonder about this little sliver here of residential next to the light industrial. Not to bring up too many things at once, but it's like this area is residential between the canal and this light industrial area.
Are there any homes back there? Oh. Yeah.
No, I know there's a lot of wetlands down there. Are we gonna have issues with ecology or anything like that?
So you have to follow the wetland rules if you're developing it.
Okay.
Okay, I feel like we're kind of stuck here. So we need some direction.
Mr. Vogel was great about changing some of it to urban reserve. Can you show us what that would look like when you suggested?
Everything down below, along the tracks, that's actually not too bad. See all that stuff right now. Oh, it's
Okay, so that would be urban reserve.
Where the blue's at, right?
Yes, the blue.
They said urban reserve for all the thing west.
And then we could
That's fine.
turn this pink polygon, purple polygon, whatever you want to call it. It does look different on this screen and that
Right.
screen. Mixed use. And then I don't know the rest of it. It does seem to be a lot of existing residential.
I'm fine with that. How's everyone else feel?
Yep. What about the little sliver here between the canal? Do we just keep it since it's
There's a lot of residential
existing?
in there right now.
Well, there's that. Yeah, there's.
So just
that's
keep
where
it.
That's where the tree. Was there? They were doing that strawberry thingy. There's like housing right there, some trailer parks and stuff.
Don't know. I'm not aware of that.
Yeah.
We'll get the figure.
What was that?
What's the difference between light industrial and heavy industrial?
It's the uses that are allowed. Be
How much they're allowed to lift.
You can't put McCain's on light industrial. No, I'm not being smart, I'm serious.
And I guess
When you look at that, the size of the activities, the amount of noise, the amount of potential pollution and all that stuff, it's all part of the heavy industry versus light. So that's where the lines get crossed a little bit.
because
Like you can't put a McCain's type operation into light industrial.
But there's an actual definition, and so we get it.
Okay, fine. I'm trying to make it simple.
That would
so light industrial is such as manufacturing, warehousing, distribution, processing, fabricating. Lots are generally smaller than in the heavy industrial zone. Heavy industrial uses need large areas of land with less restrictive performance standards than light industrial. So if we look at the actual uses,
You drive down Broadway where it becomes 24, light industrial.
is that, so that area right where it is light industrial proposed, or that's where is that a junkyard there and that Hickory shed building? Is that area?
Yep.
And so does that already fit? Those are examples of light industrial, not commercial?
I mean,
Wrecking yards aren't they light industrial?
Would it hurt
a
anything to just?
junkyard is actually, the way we have it now, is allowed in light industrial and conditional in heavy industrial.
That's what I thought.
Oh, okay.
what was that?
That was for the wrecking yard?
Junkyard, wrecking yard, salvage yard.
Okay. Because I was just wondering, is there anything there right now that needs it to stay light industrial? And
Yeah, because that wouldn't be
does.
allowed in a commercial, that existing use wouldn't be allowed in a commercial zone.
Okay.
Which is not to say we can't write some new zones that better fit what we actually have.
Because that could address those concerns of not allowing some of the issues that were brought up for light industrial while also allowing the companies to stay there because they don't really present those concerns. At least it seems like they don't, as far as like chemicals and emergency situations being close to residential areas. At least for this one. I don't know about the one on the northeast corner by Lee. But
Something is annexed, if it was legally established before annexation, it can continue. It just may not be able to expand. So again, remembering that we're looking at areas that are currently outside city limits. So we don't necessarily need to fit, they don't need to fit exactly our zoning now because
Gotcha.
they're future, potentially future city areas. 'Cause I don't know that we would want to allow the full range of light industrial uses there in proximity to the, was it, a strange area just because of where the railroad is and the canal and everything.
yeah. So that's why I'm thinking if there was a condition, like we're still working on a definition of mixed use, if there was a different way to keep it light industrial, you know.
Wanted like a different mixed use for that one, more like a commercial industrial mix rather than the residential commercial.
My concern, if we do commercial light, there's only one entrance and exit in that area, which is that
Moon Road.
because you can't go through, can't go all the way across because that track is blocked off.
Blocked off. Yeah, no, and I'm not necessarily for making it commercial, just so that we can leave it so that the wrecking yard doesn't have to relocate.
It's
but-
currently annexed, so we're actually talking about the long-term plan past that.
Yeah, because I want to say the junkyard's on where the white's at, It's on the other side of
Is
the,
it-
That's the scrap
North of
yard.
26.
yeah, oh yeah, you're talking about the, you're talking about where Oscars was at.
Yeah.
before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's annexed.
Oh, are you talking
No,
about
it's not.
Comer?
It's outside of this.
Oscars is outside the city limits.
The current light blue.
Yeah. The junkyard, yes.
Right there, that dark black.
The junkyard, not the recycling place. Recycling is in city, junkyard is outside city limits.
I agree with that.
Show me on there where the junkyard is.
Way up there.
If you just, it's,
Up by Wood Road.
if you just zoom in, it's,
Yeah.
So here's the road.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's, just zoom, can you
Based on
zoom
that
in?
map, it's annexed.
It's in the map, but it's not on our map.
It's on the far side.
You
It's
can
on the
just-
far side of Moon Road though. It's
Yeah.
on the south side. It's on the south side of Moon Road.
So it's outside of Moon Road, it's outside city limits there.
Yeah.
So a
So that whole
Turquoise area is,
This thing right here is not already in city.
It's the same area.
No.
No.
Same thing as the Cocoa map.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The blue's not city, it's just marked as light industrial.
I get it.
So that's why Rob was saying, because of the junkyard, we should probably annex, or we should probably mark that
It's
as
not.
commercial, right?
It's not blue on that. That's why I was getting thrown off.
Where the junkyard's at?
I mean, it's white.
I was more wondering about
That little area, because I was looking at this and I
Qualifiers
wasn't
so that
looking at this. It's white, so I was like, that's city limit.
can't have like the chemical issues that the other one was talking about, but it can allow the junkyard to stay there and limit that from happening in the future.
Mhm.
If they move out and somebody else wants to come in because it's light industrial, they can't be drawn to that area. They'd have to go.
So
I have no idea.
where did we land? Or is it, if we can't decide tonight, that's okay.
I felt like people were agreeing. I felt like people were agreeing with what you had mapped out there being south of the railroad urban reserve, right?
Yes, yeah. So I have that marked on there.
Looking at multi or we're gonna change that to
So this is what I have marked
use.
currently. I have this blue area as urban reserve. That's the one south of the railroad and west of the
I
canal.
felt like everyone was okay with that.
I do have a question on that urban reserve, sorry. Because there is a circle out there. There's a circle out there that is selling for homes. Is that gonna,
That's county.
it is. It won't matter though, right? I think it's I don't know which farmer, but there's a couple circles out there.
yeah, it wouldn't matter unless they wanted annexation.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, I'm good.
And do you say that that little blue area can have its own definition, or does it have to be a universal definition to use all the time? I was trying to understand.
But we could make new zones if we need them.
Yeah, we can,
It could be it's commercial industrial that will allow for it to stay functioning the way that it is now.
Potentially, if that's what we want to do.
yeah,
So I think trucker rows out there, isn't it?
call it something like mixed commercial or something.
His place is right on the other side. of
Distinguish it
Monroe.
from the other
It's on the
mixed
north side.
use.
But it's on that urban reserve line.
Who are you saying?
The circle right here where they're making housing.
Okay.
The tracker road, South
Oh,
Tracker.
back.
Any
Yeah.
last thoughts on that? Is it okay if I mark this as it's gonna be like a commercial industrial mixed use area? And does that include just the blue area, or does it also include this yellow sliver, just the blue area?
Mhm.
Okay.
What do you think, Rob?
I thought Chris was running this show now.
You can speak up.
I think the worry was that that's yellow camp up there, so it would make sense to designate that something that's already residential, right? It's not optimum, but it is what it is right now. So I think we leave the yellow. Is everyone good with that?
Yep.
I think we change that. Matt might be a little mad, or I mean, Mark. Put a lot of work in there.
Yeah.
All right. Is it okay if I move on to the north side?
There's a lot of stuff that I have a
So
question.
first, maybe
Maybe, yeah, do the east side first.
let's do this
Don's
little
got me thinking.
area here.
Don's got me thinking about all that industrial stuff now.
Have
They can always do an amendment.
this is
Just more
Main
paperwork.
Street. here.
All right, time for me to get.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that lines up.
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna look at this last commercial space we're gonna look at here.
So Main Street
On
and
Main
Highway
Street.
17 area.
I'm okay with it.
So why are the parcels white there to the west? Just east?
Because they're in the city limits. The white ones are inside city limits.
Oh,
So we're
okay.
just trying to look outside city limits.
The commercial zone go all the way down to 14th.
What's that?
On the north side of Main Street, why doesn't it go all the way down to 14th? Because it's already in the city, okay. I think, and let me ask a question out of ignorance. Why do we ignore this big, huge white section west of the canal? I mean, it's not farmland, it doesn't have houses on it, otherwise of low use, but do we not consider it part of our urban growth area at all?
Which area?
West of the canal,
West of the canal. Which canal?
the canal that runs north, where past McCain, past SVZ. There's a huge, there's a huge area right up here.
That was in the past, that was not considered part of the growth area. I think maybe because there was so much other land that was. I'm guessing, not having been here. then.
That's
It's not
Jake's
particularly
land,
good
right?
agricultural land. It's not much good for anything, but. Say that again.
A lot of that land out there is Jake and McCain's land. Jake,
I didn't know.
Not me.
It looks like maybe there were some lines drawn to kind of create a commercial corridor. It's not looking to me like it's lining up with any current development. I'm not sure if it doesn't look like it lines up with parcel lines either. But maybe the intent was to create a commercial corridor with residential beyond that.
Yeah. It was just like a distance.
Well, this should be
from Main
commercial along
Street.
17 too then.
The land that's right next to the water hole,
Which way?
where the gas station's at?
It's already in the city,
Okay, but is
Oh.
that
commercial.
commercial? Okay. And what's the little like line? I mean, that's in the city, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm okay with the purple being like that.
Would it make sense to continue that up Highway 17 like we did
All the way across.
to the south?
Well, that's
And then down, well, that's cemetery down there. No, before the cemetery. Also designate some of that commercial along Highway 17? Or mixed use, sorry, mixed use.
Oh, mixed use. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah. So that's a good point. So along the highway. And are you talking about just the yellow areas turning to mixed use? So, or the whole strip there, including the purple and the yellow?
Huh?
Would it be 2 little spots? All of this is mixed use?
I don't know that you need to go that wide, but I don't think it really matters either because it's not annexed. No, so I guess I was under the understanding that AJ asked for annexation of everything to Highway 17, but obviously not.
No, he doesn't own those last parcels.
Strips that are right along the highway.
Okay.
So the one that he's talking about, that's pink and then yellow and then light blue.
So-
And then above that, dark.
I don't know, mixed
Right along the highway.
use makes sense to me because it just simplifies it.
But are we talking about?
Now,
The two yellow blocks just up north of the cemetery, are they
they're
in
saying
the
that's
county?
not,
I thought they were in the city.
annexed up to here.
Correct.
So north of
He
the
doesn't know that.
cemetery is outside the
Which I don't
city. South of
understand,
the
like,
cemetery
part of the
just
circles,
annexed
but-
recently.
But the two yellow spots just north of the cemetery, they already have houses on them. Are
I'm
they in
actually
the
talking about
city?
this makes them
Yeah, the
make
two
it
little,
mixed
two
use.
little yellow squares just below the pink part,
Cemetery's right here. They're gonna
just
drop
north of
it.
the cemetery, down further there, no, down.
Yeah, so everything above it.
I would see that.
They being yellow means they're not in the
Cemetery's not
city
in
now?
city limits. We could,
Yes.
We're talking about future growth, so there's no point in talking about it.
what have you done?
Yeah, I didn't touch anything. You touched it.
I'm for making everything yellow mixed use. Would the cemetery be able to, we could include that in our definition, right?
I would say the cemetery is another one that would be good as public use.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, there's your public use.
I'm okay with that. Let's do it.
I like that.
But then if you do all the yellow, then it simplifies it, as well as the ones for commercial, the colorful one.
That's what I was telling you about.
Public, perfect.
All right, Jose, you win.
That way somebody didn't accidentally put top over. Sure, freaking Steve King.
So then, are we keeping the commercial corridor along Main Street and then changing the yellow, which is currently residential, to mixed use on both the north and south side of Main?
The yellow?
All of the yellow?
I mean,
I would just keep it yellow.
I guess that the furthest southwest square could stay residential, because that's realistically what that's going to be in, but
Yeah, I think that one.
that one there,
But then this turned to mixed use.
mixed.
Okay. Got it.
And then the whole yellow to the north of Main Street, just because there's no good division there. How is that property divided out that way, Ann? And not in straight lines, north of, right there?
It's irrigation canals and
Oh.
stuff.
There's an irrigation canal that runs right up the middle of that area.
Right, cuts it.
Right through that field?
Yeah,
Really?
you're more than welcome to walk it.
Okay, that
No, thanks.
does seem like it transitions better into we have the light industrial here, so then we're not keeping residential next to light industrial. And this looks like the intersection of 17 and Lee.
Why was that designated light industrial? Can we give
Because
insight
it's
on
light
that?
industrial all along Lee.
Buffer from heavy industry.
Because it was already.
So that light industrial extends in the.
All the way on
all
Lee.
the way along Lee Road.
Buffer from heavy industry.
No, I know what the reason. I was just wondering why the one square was, and I wasn't thinking about the fact that the annex part was too. Okay.
Okay, does this look acceptable as it is?
How does everyone feel about it?
Mixed use, they can do whatever they want. Apparently it's your.
Well, now you're on board with it.
Okay.
I think so. I'm not getting anyone other than
Tackle
long
the
blinks.
north section here.
We're just passing it back to the city council when we put mixed use.
This is just the preliminary work. None of this is set in stone yet, so it's all just proposals and getting feedback. Okay. Industrial area. All of that dark blue is designated as heavy industrial in the current future land use map. And I know there are discussions happening here, so it looks like there's,
Well, I guess what is the commission? So Gina was the one that brought the proposal for the landowner for the changes there. So I don't know if you want to talk about that or you want to just talk about it in general and then go to the. I wanted you to know that there were changes being asked for when you're thinking about this, but I
It's
don't
the
know.
next agenda item, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, so
we're
that's-
done. Can we zoom a little bit out so that we all can see what we have done, and then we can agree that that's good, and then we can go with Gina.
It's good.
I did it just for that. All right.
it's a lot of work. So I think it's looking.
Good job.
It's going to come back. That is a draft.
You're good. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Good job. Okay.
2 minutes here.
I'm going to get blamed now. I think we can move on.
Yep.
So I
Did
wasn't
you plan
really-
on this being like 3 meetings to get through this agenda?
I thought it could be. Um,
Do you need us to like vote for this or?
No, I just don't, I'm not entirely sure how we want to talk about this part. Since there were substantial changes proposed, and we haven't really even talked about how it is now. So I don't know if you just want to talk about the proposal.
I think the proposal is fine, then it gives us some time to think about it. I don't know that we probably want to spend the time to then discuss it tonight anyway.
Okay, yeah, it is getting close to, we usually try to limit these to 2 hours, so.
But I wanted, Gina's here, so, and it's her birthday, so we'll let her do what
She
she
is
came
here
to
on her
do.
birthday, yeah.
Go ahead.
Overdoing it? Oh, you guys do want me to remember.
She's just going to explain.
Explain what the,
If there's questions for clarification, that's it, and then we'll discuss, we'll mull it over and talk about it on the next meeting. How's that sound?
how am I gonna point this out?
Do you have that on your computer? Yeah.
A laser pointer.
So where do you want me to explain first?
Residential. Residential.
Yep. I think so. You were very upset if you did that. You will make someone in the audience very upset if you do that. It's one way to look at it. It's one way to look at it.
Okay. So, quick, fun trivia question while I'm up here. And since you guys made me come on my birthday, what happened 57 years ago on this day?
57 years ago?
I just got back from my honeymoon.
57 years ago?
Okay, maybe not.
Wow.
It felt like, oh, this is a dumb question. I already know the answer.
Anybody?
It felt like it. Come on, guys.
Moon landing, I don't know.
Yeah, nailed it.
Moon landing.
Moon
That's why
landing.
people love
Man
moon
walked on
pies.
the moon.
Oh, the moon landing.
Because that was my birthday.
You're wasting time.
All right, so at the request of Terra Gold Farms, we're making some change requests. You see the outlined yellow area. Basically, everything up there is heavy industrial. And the landowner is not interested in having heavy industrial around their residence, which is in the white area, the white square that just outside of that. So they're proposing the yellow section, the yellow border would be residential. Thank you. Oh. Which button?
It's pointing at yourself, turn it around.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
There we go. So this area here would all be residential. This is basically where AJ's residence is. The red areas here is they're requesting 660 feet of commercial either side of Lee Road because they didn't think having residential coming right down to Lee Road and turning off of Lee Road would be a good idea. This area here, they are requesting light industrial because we need a buffer between the heavy industry and the residential. They're requesting that whole section with, it's basically the two halves of the farm blocks that are there. They're requesting that to be light industry. And then there's this little square right here in the top corner, and this is right on Lee Road, and they're requesting that to be a commercial. And they are also requesting this little bricked area here. This is right now, the whole thing I believe is light industrial, and they're requesting that residential be brought up to the commercial area that they're requesting.
So when you say requesting, this is not annexed.
This is
They're requesting that the future.
They want the future use map to be changed because right now what I believe what is happening is they've got a lot of people coming and going, oh, well, we want to purchase this land for heavy industry. And they're not interested in selling it for heavy industry.
So it's not because their plan is to ask for annexation to continue development.
Eventually they will. Eventually they will, but right now it's outside of the city. It's on the future use plans, and they just want to see the future use map reflect what they'd like to see happen there.
Makes sense.
I'll say a few things there is
Understand the
that
request,
they would need to also work
Yes.
with the county, because really it's the county zoning
Yes.
that controls what happens. So they will need to work with the county as well.
Yeah, we're planning
that.
on doing that.
And then some of the requests are inside existing city limits. So south of Lee Road, those requests are in the city limits. So those would.
So there's some
would
current
affect-
requests
Yeah,
for
so,
zoning. Everything north,
yeah.
we
so
wouldn't really
the-
make a decision till the county makes a decision, would we?
So the commercial here, the residential here, and
Gonna
this little
coordinate.
bit of commercial would be it within the city limits, and those are going to be requested zoning changes.
I'm sorry, the map in the
Mhm.
packet and the map that we're looking at
Mhm.
aren't accurate. So the map on the agenda.
So I made the maps, so it's all my fault. So just.
This is gonna be residential, not industrial, right?
Yes, but she's just but if you see, she's just designated it by a yellow border, and that's a requested residential R1.
Okay.
It's not R1 right
Because
now.
showing that little bit next to 17 is gonna stay heavy industry.
Yeah, because that's not
And that's what it says
Terra
on
Gold,
page 9.
but that's not Terra Gold Farms property.
Okay, but and the reason I was asking is because on here it's yellow.
Yeah.
I probably made a mistake.
Yeah, that little piece.
Yeah,
on the
that,
packet, it's yellow,
it's
but on
this
there-
whole strip all the way down, I believe everything all the way down.
I don't know what you're looking at on the packet, but I'm seeing the same.
We're looking at 12 though.
With requested changes.
So-
I know, but this.
And this is what we were talking about, that strip along 17 all the way down to
You're jumping ahead.
Main Street
Oh.
is not owned by Terra Gold Farms.
So that is my mistake on this map. I did it all the way to 17. It wasn't.
So that's accurate, not this one, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So basically, we have to consider is do we want?
Yeah, you'd have to consider this piece because there would definitely, and do you really want your heavy industry right up to the,
No.
right up to the?
It would, yeah, it would make us change or
next
add
to
to what we've already
residential.
discussed.
And there's going to be a lot of residential even down along here.
So I have a question, but I'm going to wait till next meeting. I understand your request.
Mhm.
I think I'm clear. with that. Is everyone clear with what the request is? And so this gives us an opportunity to do some research and come with questions to the next meeting to get clarification for things. Everyone okay with that? Or do we want to stay here, hash this out till 10?
Hash it down, I'm down.
You and Rob can stay.
Did you see one thing on the Google map? And just to compare this to this, just so that I can, I have a question, we'll come back. Can you compare the Google map area to the proposed map changes? And where does the Reynolds Roads, the Sportsman Trailer Court line up with that?
Sportsman trailer court is to the
Hey.
It'll be further out.
I just
The
didn't
next
know
meeting.
where it all lined up. I just wanted to see it.
I think you're a little far north. Oh, there's Sportsman's there.
Just let me know, or you can move it too.
That's Sportsman's.
Where-
And I believe
Where's Foley?
this is 17, right? And this would be AJ's residence.
So Foley's the road.
That's Foley.
Foley's this road.
And then it goes up to, what's the next one?
That's the airport and,
So it won't reach it. It'll be right underneath it.
no, it'll be just under it.
Sutton.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions for clarification on the request?
I even have reasonings.
All right.
Um,
Any other questions or comments from the commission?
Yep. I mean, I got questions, but I can wait till next meeting.
Okay, thank you,
I'll be
Gina.
here at the next one if you guys do have any more
All
questions.
right, so 8:09, meeting's adjourned. Oh,
I like it.
You took an executive decision and we're okay with it.
Benefit of being the chair.
that was really unprofessional.
When we actually get a crowd, you want to show your enforcement. I see how it is. Nothing.
I didn't give a motion for adjournment.
You actually bring up.
I don't think so.
So why would you want
Maybe you
to
don't
have
want
the
city
industry?
council does it.
I'm no mayor.
Not yet.
You have a lot of already. Industrial.
Changes, like recalculate.
So you have.
Was the last question?
It was just the city limits.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that you're at the border of Vista and you're at the border.
As far as like land
So we
capacity.
have two. I have a meeting. Huge basing wall.
Do you want your cup? Yes.
Rail lines. You gotta have rail
I
lines.
told you to leave your snack.
Well,
I think if we can show.
so when you go from. You don't have to. I don't think you can get rail.
It's been the wrong weekend. It's my favorite. No, you know what? She left it. She abandoned it for a time.
For ownership. It's for abandonment.
It's keeping my family.
That's where they.
The company, because it's the same color. So she didn't go out.
Get to that.
And I felt I was definitely in the weather.
But I think you also have that.
That was exactly what I was.
I thought if you were. Yeah. Like that. Leaving now? Yes. But I just. It's like you too. Happy birthday, Nana.
I just still, I think.
Would you be concerned about that taking away too much